given some space. Took it to the rack with the left hand. Tip back out. The JackJumpers get another look at it. In the jet, guarded by Reith. Nice find for Kenyon. That's two.
And you know they spread the floor really well. So when there's a drive, you have to help, a little help and a little sink, and you find these guys wide open.
A 30% shooter across the season from outside. He's 100% so far, Matt Kenyon.
Nice take from Tyler Harvey. He's just starting to build his confidence. Had a 16-point game, a 22-point game the other night. And now you can see he's getting himself going off the bounce.
And they create a turnover here as we welcome in Anthony Stewart for the first time tonight.
Good evening, men. Yeah, caught up with Brian just before the game. Gave me a little bit of a sly wink and a little fist pump. He's pretty confident going into this game. And I think if they've learned anything, I agree with Copes. They've got to get on the rim. They took too many jump shots the other night, and I think if they can do that against this small lineup, good things will happen.
Well short from Harvey. Kenyon. Found McVeigh rolling to the basket. Pass was deflected. Still time on the shot clock. McVeigh spins and gets to the left hand.
He's been tough for him this year, hasn't he? I mean, he just brings energy. He plays smarter. And I don't understand how Adelaide could let him go last year. I think they lost something special.
Good signing, really good signing. And it's been fun watching his second half of his year because they struggle to get him involved to begin this season. He's a real important piece to the puzzle now.
There's a foul here on Tasmania. His last 10 games, Jack McVeigh, he's averaged best part of 15 points and 7.5 rebounds a game. And in that last 10, Tasmania have been 7 and 3.
Huge. And it was such a key. And Scott Roth knew it. He was talking about we've got to find ways to get Jack McVeigh shots, get him involved. He's got to be an important part of what we do. And you saw it last week against Illawarra. I mean, he was the difference. Yeah. 19 and 6. He hit some buckets late that were huge. And we saw what he can do in the block there, but he's a pick and pop threat.
A guy that can play multiple positions, can guard multiple positions. How do you, again, lose him? I'm not trying to sign him. Yeah. Young with his age.
I understand. Adelaide's losses. Tasmania's gain. That's last touch by Illawarra.
You touch on a sore spot there for the 36er fans, Coach, because there are a lot of high-level talents around the league who made their way through that organisation.
Oh, yeah. One in particular that we'll see later on tonight for the Phoenix. Adams pulls the trigger. That's a nice spot.
Nothing wrong with his wings, Liam.
If you don't touch him.
You don't touch him.
3 of 3 so far. It's been their go-to against the Hawks, the way they've shot the ball. A combined 45% from outside in the 2 games. Nice move from Cleveland. Talk about players growing in confidence. Antonius Cleveland has found his spot in this rotation now.
Yeah, he's special. He's special. Because he doesn't need the ball to score. Defensively, he can go take that ball, and he's pushing it up the floor.
Tasmania by 5. Adams all the way in. Tough finish with his left hand.
He's getting himself going. Early doors, 7 points, hasn't missed. A little bit at the rim, a little bit mid-range, and beyond the arc.
A little quiet by his standards on Sunday. Into 7 points. Averages 15.5 across the season. Jessup off target. Here's Cleveland, offensive rebound, and puts it back in with a foul.
And this is what Antonius Cleveland does so well. You talked about how you don't have to run plays for him. He doesn't dominate the ball, but he just creates things out of nothing. Here's Josh Adams just pulling up off the ball screen. Sticks that into what Reith's grill, and then offensive rebound. All right, now it's a junk play that he can get an and-one finish and just finds different ways on the floor to have a positive impact for his team.
That last play when Adams came up and took the 3, that's just way too easy. He's led him in scoring. There's no hand in the face. Gordon's getting soft, man. I got to call him. Whoa! Whoa! I played against Gordon. You couldn't come off a screen without somebody smacking you upside the head. So that's just a little bit too easy.
So you're saying a yesteryear Reed to be out of the game?
Hey, man, somebody, you can't just put your, somebody's got to put a hand up. It's just too easy.
Well, he's had some frustrations with this squad defensively over the course of the year, no doubt about it, but they've improved in recent times. You're right, that's too easy, but they were good for 3 quarters against the Phoenix the other night, and we've mentioned 6 wins from their past 8 games.
If the Hawks go down today and they lose the series, it'll be the first time as coach of Illawarra that Brian Goorjian will have been swept in a series. Matan Mays, that is tough.
That's a terrible shot.
Loose ball for Conrad, who couldn't put it back in. JackJumpers come up with it. The Jet. Now has McVeigh up top. He's fouled by Conrad. Free throw's coming.
Good take from McVeigh. He's picking up from where he left off last week against the Hawks. And there you see his versatility. He can catch and shoot that. So you got to close out. Got to make that tough, run him off the arc, and then he puts it on the bounce, on the floor. Draws the contact at the rim.
Timeout called by Brian Goorjian. His team down 5. He's already seated waiting for his men to arrive.
Absolutely. After that last shot.
That generally doesn't augur well.
South. All the stuff we talked about isn't there. You're not moving the ball. Get it from one side to the other. Block out, keep your man in front of you, and get a hand on the shot. Quit giving up the pull-through. They're going opposite on the oddball. Boom. Come on now. You want to know what to do? Do your job. Get the ball moving and guard. Come on now, here we go.
Strong stuff.
I take that back. Goorjian's not getting soft. That's the Goorjian I know.
Hashtag do your job.
That's right.
From Goorjian, the huddle, and Matan Mays. Strong message to him about moving the ball. You mentioned that was a bad shot. Comes in off the bench and launches it. This team is last in the league in assist percentage.
Yeah.
And they're, like most teams, they look their best when it's moving through hands.
Absolutely.
And he's sending a strong message there. Get it from side to side. Get everybody involved. First couple of possessions, pretty good in that regard, but it's got a little sticky in these last couple of minutes.
Haven't had an assist so far today, Illawarra.
That's not good
and they've
enough.
4 made field goals.
Everyone wants, whoever touches the ball wants to take it themselves. You're not playing team ball here. And that's when they get into trouble.
Still to come tonight, Southeast Melbourne playing host to the Sydney Kings at John Cain Arena. In the game of 3rd versus 5th. We told you it's going to be a bumper night. 4th versus 6th in this one. Matan Mays had Froling rolling to the basket. JackJumpers have done a good job to blow this up, but Cleveland, with athleticism, accelerates to the basket.
He's good, man. He's good.
That was great D. For 23 seconds there, Kenyon. That's a tough contest, you know. He's undersized there against Antonius Cleveland. They managed the ball movement. Sam Froling catches it, the short roll, and they took away the corner shooter. Sometimes you defend well, and the offense just gets the advantage.
He makes the first, 8th in the competition for blocks this season, Antonius Cleveland, for a player that's 6'5".
With
4th in the
long
competition for steals.
With long arms. And look, he gets his hands. It reminds me of a guy like D-Mac. D-Mac had those long, sticky fingers. Whenever you tried to pass the ball around him, he'd get his hands on it. You know.
Tyler Harvey back in. Interesting for Tyler Harvey. Scored 302 points for the season coming into tonight, Liam. Only 45 of those have come in the first quarter. But he struggles. We certainly know he finishes well. No question about that. McVeigh has been busy. He took it at Reed, who said, no way.
He said, no, sir.
That's what you want. The big fella at the back of the defense breaks down there on the coverage on the perimeter. And Reese says, I got you, fellas.
Yeah, Tasmania ball. McIntosh and Steindl in for their first minutes for the JackJumpers. The jet from the Kmart logo. That was interesting. Hawks trail by 5. The message out of the timeout was to get that ball moving. White got a little caught up. Did everything but finish. Bairstow had a mismatch, but before that, Steindl had stepped out of bounds. The JackJumpers captain, 6 made threes last Sunday in their win over the Hawks. Equal career high for him. He got hot.
Sure did. They haven't run some action for him since he's checked into this game. Usually what works so effectively for Clint Steindl, one of the league's leaders in first quarter points, even though he comes off the bench because they get him early looks, but not so far.
Again, one pass, drive to the basket, or take a shot. They're not moving the ball.
Here's Steindl. Got it.
Good ball movement in transition. But just the shot fake from Sam McDaniel. Got reacted like he was Steph Curry. And he found Steindl ready to knock it down.
And Conrad responds at the other end.
Just swing that ball. Make the defense adjust.
3 of 7 on Thursday against the Phoenix. He played some good minutes, the veteran. Important knockdown there for Illawarra. They bring it back to 5. Less than 90 seconds before quarter time. Shot clock at 7. McIntosh left open. And McDaniel on the offensive glass.
There it again. Go Reed up in the air. The rotation has to come. And they're late to get to Clint Steindl, and you just cannot leave that man open.
Not at all.
Coming off that 6-made triple game, he's feeling good right now.
McIntosh likes to burrow in. Reith got another one, blocked that shot.
Oh, he might have taken that in the chest, though. Although it looked like a flop, I think he might have taken it right in the middle of his...
He's okay now by the looks of it, Conrad. He found Duop Reith under the basket. Good finish. They've scored the last 5, Illawarra.
Ref's giving him a flop warning.
He's still holding his sternum.
It's taken the wind right out of Conrad.
Conrad don't want anymore.
Steindl turns the corner.
Wow. Wow. There it is. That's the kind of action we're talking about. And they know exactly where the ball's going. Staggered screens along the bottom on the block. He's just the best in the business, catching and shooting off those actions.
And knowing Gordon like we know him, that would have been the first thing on the... Talked about in the locker room. Find Steindl. Don't let him get hot.
Just like that.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me?
Boy.
Scouting report would have been, don't leave Steindl. He's coming off screens. Don't switch. Stay with him. Stay connected.
3 made threes in 3 minutes. And the Hawks need a bucket now to finish off the quarter. Rattan Mays can't make it count. The JackJumpers are in good touch at the Silverdome. After 1, they lead at 26-17 on the back of 6 straight points to finish the opening quarter. It's Saturday Night Hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBA.
Scope.
Great to have your company in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's happening again for the Tasmania JackJumpers. They're shooting the ball well to start the game. 75% on 6 of 8 from outside. Clint Steindl, the man doing the damage with 3 of 3. And the winner of our Kmart Fam Cam for tonight, that's Teresa, who's a proud supporter of the JackJumpers. They've got members coming from everywhere. Another great crowd today at the Silver Dome in Launceston. And why not? If they play basketball like this, why wouldn't you go and watch them?
Teresa would have really enjoyed that first quarter. My goodness, as you say, 6 of 8 from long range. It's been an issue for the Hawks against the JackJumpers in their couple of matchups, just letting guys get looks on the perimeter, and Tassie making them pay. And on the flip side, Illawarra, rough shooting first quarter, 6 from 18 from the field, only 17 points on the board.
Last time against the Hawks, Tasmania were 1 from 8 in the first quarter. Today, they're 6 from 8, Coach.
Now, listen, we know Gorgon. He's got to report what he said. Run these guys off the three-point line. You can't let these guys shoot the way they've been shooting all year. That probably would have gone as well. Give it to him.
Offensive foul that time on Tasmania.
It reminds me sort of one of these, it just looks like one of those teams that's stagnant in offense, so they're not really worried about the defensive end. They're trying to fix their offensive end, but that's not going to help you. If you don't shut these guys down, you're going to be in trouble.
They average 45% from outside against Illawarra in their 2 games. Their next best is 10 made threes against Melbourne per game. But there's something about this matchup that works for Tasmania. It's Cleveland taking matters into his own hands.
They have the ability to get the Hawks scrambling. That's what they can do in transition. We saw it, and the Hawks, their defensive, a lot of them, their defensive fundamentals aren't hugely sound. So you saw Duop Reith jumping at Sam McDaniel in the corner. Well, that opens Clint Steindl on rotations. And then as they run him off those staggered screens off the ball, the ability to stay in touch, to be able to help and recover if you're guarding the screener. Those things haven't been there for the Hawks in this matchup. And Tassie have taken advantage.
Cleveland makes the second. No burgers yet for Tasmanian basketball fans, courtesy of Hungry Jacks. McIntosh kicks it back out. Weeks had space to fire. That's not counting. It's Tyler Harvey. Had an awkward and rough landing. He looks to be okay.
He was just getting a little caught up here. Couldn't get his feet, and then got his toes caught on the tops of those chairs. A little face plant.
Almost ended up in the bin. McIntosh steps back.
He plays that bully ball, doesn't he?
Look at Tasmania get after this offensive rebound. McDaniel off for Steindl.
Come on, man.
The bank's open on a Saturday in Launceston.
Come on, man. This guy's on fire. Who said something's wrong with those rings?
4 of 4. Clint Steindl. Tasmania 7 from 10 from the land of plenty. The only concern for them would be they've just picked up their 3rd foul of the quarter.
I love the way it was set up, this bucket. Look at Bairstow. He's blocking out for an offensive rebound. Gets after it, extra possession, and then on a scramble, they're able to find Clint Steindl, and he cashes in off the board.
But you have to know, even on an offensive rebound, you have to know where Steindl is. You can't leave this guy. He's hot.
Now Reith tries his luck. He's a beautiful shooter of the basketball for his size.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put Cleveland. They got Cleveland on him now.
Duop Reith 40% from beyond this season. Steindl.
Run him off the three-point line.
Involves McDaniel.
And let McDaniel shoot it.
That's heads-up play from Steindl. He knows they're going to run him off the arc, so he attacks, draws the help, sucks in the D, finds an open teammate.
8 made threes now for Tasmania. Froling to the other end. Too big, too strong, and too mobile for Bairstow. Third meeting of the season between these two teams. Steindl short that time. The foul will be on Bairstow, so that's their 4th of the quarter.
There's Reith knocking it down, and this, again, beautiful find there from Steindl. Just reacting to the overreaction from the defense. McDaniel, he went 4 of 4 against Illawarra from 3 a few weeks ago and has been really cold since. Hadn't hit a 3 in 5 games since that one. Comes in, knocks down his first look.
Steindl staying in. McDaniel puts the ball on the floor, takes it at Jessup. He's forced into a tough look. Weeks kept it alive. McDaniel again. Misses out. And that foul will be on Jessup. 5 offensive rebounds already for Tasmania.
The crash on the glass is elite. That's Bairstow's effort, opening a lane for Weeks. And then again, Weeks getting involved down there. So Bairstow again, so he gets pushed off the spot. And the JackJumpers get it back.
Irregardless of what happens, you got to put your hand up and say Scott Roth has done a fantastic job with the group of guys first year. And I'm not being disrespectful, but you don't have any big names out there. But these guys will be playing the way they're playing right now. You got to take your head off to this guy. He's doing a fantastic job.
Coach of the year, in your eyes?
Well, he has to be. Right now, he has to be the coach of the year.
Knockdown from Harvey. I don't want to go a homicide on you here and use capital letters and all that sort of stuff, but I've got him as the standout for coach of the year. Yeah. It's only personal opinion, so that's okay. But
he'll get the votes.
I think he's the standout.
He'll get the votes. Don't worry about that. Now, there's still a few games to be played. There's Harvey wheeling and dealing off the bounce.
And even
knocking down his first triple.
It's not about wins and losses after this. It's the way they're playing.
Correct.
It's how they're playing and how a new team, a brand new team with no names. I keep saying that. I shouldn't say that because they got names. But guys, you don't really recognize.
And this without Will Magnay, as we mentioned, Adams up top. Loose ball falls out to Weeks. He's well short. Will Magnay's been missing now for 8 games and expected to be missing for quite a few more, potentially. Could be season over for him. He's very much a wait and see. Duop Reith or Cleveland, we'll give that to one of them. They've scored the last 7 and have worked their way back into this game, the Hawks. It's 4 points the difference, and Scott Roth wants to have a chat about it.
Of course he does. Guys are starting to play defense. You got to run these guys off the three-point line, carry a hand, and swing the ball.
Let's go inside the JackJumpers huddle with Scott Roth.
Second shots again. Let's just go one up, and get some movement. All right, one up. There, Sean, be ready for circle. Let's go one up, punch. Against the switch. Good? Yep. Got to finish the quarter out here, right? Lock back in, keep the ball in front. The glass is hurting us. We're getting second shots, quality shots for us. Got to clean up the glass, all right? Together, 1, 2, 3, together. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
So further that coach of the year conversation, it doesn't happen often that somebody a team misses the finals, the coach gets coach of the year. So you think back, this season actually reminds me a lot of 2016. Sean Dennis in charge of the Townsville Crocs.
Yep.
And that team had some young, up-and-coming players that became stars in the league, Nick Kay, Mitch Norton and the like, but they went 11-17 that year. But you're right, Coach, it was the way they competed, the way they played game after game. And he's the only guy to be coach of the year when they didn't make the finals and they had a losing record. This season reminds me a little bit of that for Scott Roth, because he just has them playing better than the sum of their parts.
Yes.
Hashtag NBL22. Give us your thoughts as we get down to Anthony Stewart.
I've sat in a few Gorgon timeouts, but he was pretty animated there. He said these guys have got to become men and be physical under the hoop. Bairstow's tearing them up under there at the moment. And getting back to what you said about the jack jumpers, I just want to add to that a little bit. I've got a couple of NBL1 guys that train with these guys, and the first thing they do when you come into the gym, whether you watch them at training or coming into an NBL1, they go up and meet you and greet you and shake your hand. They're a very respectful group as well, and that's been brought in by Scott Ross. So it's just not on the floor, it's off the floor. They're doing an amazing job in this community.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Hardest thing to do in any brand new organisation, sport or otherwise, is to build a culture.
Right. And him coming from Perth, perfect example of what to do.
Adams lost the handle. Jessup in transition. It's a one-point game. Illawarra have scored the last 9.
Beautiful from the Hawks. Find Jessup in transition. See if you can get him on the arc like the Jackies have found Glenn Steindl, and he drills it.
2 of 11 on Thursday. And he struggles. It'll be good for his confidence. Adams unsuccessful. And the Hawks playing to take the lead on this possession. Here's Jessup. Shot clock at 9. He's knocked out of bounds.
One difference in the Hawks is they're swinging that ball. They're moving the ball. They're sharing the ball. And they're getting better shots.
He's the 22-year-old next star, Justinian Jessup. His second season here in the Hungry Jacks NBL as the next star. (32-30). Conrad early in the offense. McIntosh looks to take it to the other end. Got to the left hand, couldn't score. Back to Rattan Mace. They find Jessup, and that's what he can do. Brian Gorshin wants to have a chat about it. Illawarra lead, and look at the damage they've done in this second quarter.
Well, that's an odd time out. I mean, his team
starting to roll.
He's starting to roll here. Yeah, you're right. A little overhelp from Josh Adams.
Maybe he sees something we don't see. He wants to straighten it out before they get back on this offensive end.
He's trying to get the score fixed. The Jessup 3 in transition, they only counted as 2. It was right in front of that Hawks bench.
Yeah.
He's willing to get a timeout to get that extra point.
This is my blow one. Get this point on the board.
Get this point, bro. I'm struggling.
Yelling at us. We had it under control.
It's you love Gorgie.
So here's the Jessup 3 you're talking about.
He looks like he's on that line, though.
You think he's on the line?
Look like it from here. Who knows?
They've given him that point back.
Scoreline has been adjusted. So what you can see is correct at 34-32.
Surely he didn't lose the timeout.
He keeps his timeout.
And he does, yeah. 13-0 run right now for the Hawks. They were down 11 early. It's been a big second quarter for them. Tasmania go to McVeigh when they need a bucket, and he delivers.
The energy he brings is crazy to me how you wouldn't want a guy like this on your team. I mean, starter, coming off the bench, someone who doesn't play.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that you need.
And the arrow's pointed up, too. He's only young. He's entering that most improved player conversation
100%.
now, second half of this season. And I like, because opposition coaches see him at the 4 and they go, what? You know what? We can go small at the 4 here. Put on a shooter like Tim Conrad. But McVeigh's got that post game. Takes him into the block and goes to work.
There's Harry Froling into the game. Had a DNP on Thursday for the first time since 2016. It's deflected out of play. Froling, who got away with one there.
Yeah.
JackJumpers by 1. They led by as much as 11 a few moments ago. Adams misses everything. And Kenyon kept it alive.
Smart play. I'm trying to get Steino back in that game as soon as possible.
This is the thing that's challenging about the JackJumpers, that they send all 5 guys to the offensive glass. A lot of teams are loath to do that because it makes you susceptible in defensive transition. But all 5 of your guys need to be ready to block out and keep them off the glass.
And the Jet misses. 5th foul of the quarter for Tasmania. Free throws to come for Illawarra. They've just gone a little cold in this second quarter.
They have. A lot of that's because the Hawks are moving their ball and they're scoring. Again, when you're focused on offense and not defense sometimes, it hurts you because the way the Hawks started, you know, you shoot the ball and you shoot the ball well, and then all of a sudden you're not focused on your defensive end.
Gorge calls a timeout, says you need a man up. And they lift the intensity.
Absolutely.
Matan Mays was 7 of 9 from the field on Thursday, but it was his last bucket that was his biggest.
Huge shot. 3-point game. Huge moment. Iced it.
He makes the second, and we are locked away at 35. On the back of 13 straight points from Illawarra. McVeigh in the post, that game that Liam was talking about. He jumps out.
This
Cleveland
is what he does.
Slices through.
Ooh.
McIntosh says,
no, sir.
That's a tough guy to keep up with. In transition.
And that's all ball.
blocked him with the left hand too.
Great defensive play.
And White couldn't finish. McVeigh's 4th rebound to go with his 7 points. The Jet and Adams combined. Shot clock now at 8. And Froling did well.
Really good D. Making strides in that part of his game, Harry Froling.
And Conrad was there for a while. He could size it up, he misses. Offensive rebound, Cleveland, and one. Illawarra in front.
That is tough. Again, here's a guy who doesn't need a play run for him. He goes to the glass, he gets the steal. And normally when he scores, he's always had one, isn't it? Or close to it.
It's been a big-time fight back by the Hawks, down double digits. And they've restricted Tassie to just 9 points in this second term. And Scott Roth says, you know what, I've had enough of that.
Let me bring my machine gun.
I'm heeding Copes' advice.
Let me bring my machine gun off the bench. The Uzi.
Got to find some ways to put points on the board.
21-9 in the second quarter. He's the leading scorer in the game, Clint Steindl. 4 minutes before quarter time where he just went bananas. Could not miss.
Did all that in 6 minutes.
JackJumpers just needing to find an answer offensively themselves now. They had all of the answers in the first quarter. Adams late in the clock. Stripped by White, nice hands. The shot clock's going to beat Tasmania. That will please Brian Goorjian.
That's good defense.
Put that on the video review.
Yes, sir.
And say, fellas, possession after possession, that's how we've got to defend. Gave him nothing good. And then right on the spot there, Isaac White. Great hands, shot clock expiring in the background. Elite defensive possession from the Hawks.
And he's another Liam, Isaac White. We know his scoring capabilities, but has really been challenged at the defensive end of the floor this year.
And he doesn't have great physical tools to be a defender. He's not long, he's not tall, he's not long, he's not super athletic. So it's all got to come with your energy and your fundamentals. And he's given him a punch.
And he has attitude.
Matan Mays travels. He's not too pleased about it, but pretty straightforward. Really interesting 2 minutes 15 on our way to half-time here.
Big question is, Can the JackJumpers get some points on the board? Single digits in this quarter thus far.
3 of 16 from the field in his second term, the JackJumpers. McIntosh misses the dunk. That was kept alive by Majette. And a chance for Illawarra to score off 3 straight possessions. Conrad catch and shoot. Yes!
Oh, that's back-breaking stuff for the JackJumpers. Geez, Scott Roth wants to have a chat about it. My goodness, everything's going the other way. You have an open line. And it bounces off the rock hard Launceston rim, and then Conrad down the other end says, take 3 of the best.
Didn't just miss that dunk, Copes. That's just about ended up in the 4th row if Majette didn't keep that in.
Just lay it up, big fella.
No,
Take the 2 points, bro. Take the 2 points, bro.
Would you have ever done that?
He ain't Lenard
2 hands.
Copeland. He ain't Lenard Copeland.
He's Scott Roth.
First play the opposite way. JA, 77. Hard fake. JM, 77. JA, you're coming off. Short roll. We're throwing it to Jet. Clinton, you're going to set a screen. Inside roll. All right? All right? We got to finish the quarter. 77, you're in the corner. We got to finish down here. We got to be better. Too many breakdowns. Too many guys just getting open. They're comfortable. Come on. Together. 1, 2, 3, together. 123.
Now, is that play designed for Clint? He's setting the screen, but is he coming? I didn't get that last one. I missed that one.
Yeah, are they going to bring him into the screening action? Usually when they do that, it's like a ghost screen.
Right,
and then
that's
it
what I was
quickly
thinking.
flares for the 3. But we'll see. Definitely bringing Steinle in for the ball screen with Josh Majette.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, my.
Wow. He had Steinle in front of him.
Credit the Hawks. Up the floor, 94 feet, denying the inbounds. Creating something out of nothing.
They've dialed up their defensive pressure in a big, big way. Jessup off balance with that one, misses out. Look at them ride every defensive possession too. Ryan Gourgen's been spreading the gospel about this end of the floor, and it's working. Majette couldn't get his 3 away.
That's the play he drew up in the huddle, Scott Roth, but the Hawkies blew it up.
And Steinle couldn't get a look at it either. Jessup knocks it away. This is as switched on defensively as we've seen Illawarra all season.
Wow. Fair to say their defense is totally different than the first quarter.
They are in lockdown mode.
Wow.
Right now, look, active hands, denying the back door. Harry Frolling's ready to clean up the mess. And then easy pickings in transition.
That's McIntosh's 3rd foul as well. It's unraveling for Tasmania right now.
It is.
And you bang on, Jack. This is the best. This quarter has been the best we've seen Illawarra defend. And what a time to bring it out. This is a massively important game with huge playoff implications. You can really almost put a sword through the JackJumpers, breathing down your and Southeast Melbourne and Sydney's neck with a win here, and get a little boost yourself. Take yourself to 13-8. So a massive game, and they've answered the call in this second term.
And the JackJumpers, on the other hand, if they go 10-10 tonight, it is going to be hard for them. There's no question that for the competition's newest team, every game is almost an elimination final from here on in. The first one they lose is going to make it pretty hard. The next one they lose might just about see the end of them for finals aspirations. But on the positive, isn't it great that we're in round 16 and we're having that conversation?
Absolutely fantastic. Round 16, and you talk about the newest team on the block. Again, a lot of that goes to Scott Roth, but the players, you got to give the players a hand too. They've stepped up. They bought in. Whatever he's preaching, they bought in.
Fair to say they needed that from Josh Adams.
100%.
Illawarra were on a 7-0 run before that. Conrad goes bang.
Great execution. pick and pop there with your knockdown shooter. Rattan Mays finds it.
3 of 5 from outside. The 36-year-old playing some big minutes in this second term, plus 10 in his time on the court. Adams to repeat the dose.
Wow.
He's starting to warm up now. And last possession of this first half with Illawarra. They can finish it in style, and they do. Xavier Rattan Mays with a bucket on the buzzer. And Illawarra flip it around from a 9-point deficit at quarter time to an 8-point lead at the half.
What a turnaround. And they did it at the defensive end. Adams, a couple of threes there late in the quarter, helps the score look a little more respectable for Tassie, but for most of that term, they could not find ways to put points on the board. Credit the Hawks.
Let's get down to Anthony Stewart.
Yeah, joined with Josh Adams. Fantastic start of the game. Second quarter got a little bit bogged down.
Yeah, I think we got a little impatient when they went on a run, myself especially, taking some poor shots. It's hard enough to beat this team once, let alone twice, let alone 3 times, so we got to focus in and make sure we're taking quality shots.
Yeah, Gorge is working pretty hard up and down the sidelines. Their defensive pressure really took you out of what you needed to do. How are you going to combat that in the second half?
We got to want to own our spots. We got to use our bodies to get open in the cuts, and if they try and overplay the passing lanes, we got to expose that. But it comes down to just doing what we do. We got away from that through the pressure, so we got to refocus going into the next 40 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, it feels like some playoff basketball. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
It sure does, Stewie. There's a lot on the line tonight, and Illawarra lead by 8 at half-time at the Silverdome in Launceston. You're watching Saturday Night Hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
$100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If they run, and they get 3 free throws. And they get $50. 100 and they get a free throw shot. If
It's half-time at the Silverdome in Launceston. Illawarra lead 49-41. After one, it was Tasmania who led by 9. But on the back of a 32-point second quarter from the Hawks, they lead by 8 at the main break.
It was a complete tale of two quarters, wasn't it, Jack? And you're right, it was a 20-point turnaround in that second term for Illawarra because they were down 11 early in the second quarter because Clint Steindl just went nuclear in that opening term, and then they got up 9, and now they find themselves up 8, and it started at the defensive end. They started to sit down, guard their guys, stay with their man off the ball, and all of a sudden they got stops, and then everything started flowing offensively. 32 points in that second term, but a lot of it is stemmed off getting some stops and getting yourself going in that regard. So everything that Brian Goorjian was preaching pre-game and in the huddles started to come to the fore.
Look, whatever he said in that huddle, it must have come true because he really wanted these guys to play better defense, and they did. You know, Cleveland got going, Jessup got his shot going. But look, when you let Steindl come off the bench and score the way he scored, it's just too easy. And Goorjian did the right thing when he called that timeout and ran some smoke up him. He was really upset about it.
Spot on, Coach. Whatever Brian Goorjian said, it's worked because they look so unbelievably locked into this game right now. There've been some criticism with Illawarra that they kind of float in and out of games a little bit, Liam. Not in this second quarter, anyway.
No, that second quarter looked more like, or really exactly like what he wants this team to be. Let's all step up, become a lockdown unit defensively, and then run and have some fun in transition. We'll find our shooters, we'll get to the rim, get to the free throw line. So he got exactly the response he was after.
Copes, you mentioned Justinian Jessup. The Next Stars had another really good season here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. He found his range in this second quarter. He was able to get himself going.
He has. Look, he's a great shooter when he's hot. The problem is sometimes they don't look for him, and when you don't get him going early, he gives you nothing else. But when he's knocking those shots down, he's a much better player. And look, every shot he's taking is wide open. He feels good about himself, and the team feels good about it.
And you see a lot of it's in transition as well. He's the guy they got to find there at the rim a couple of times on the arc. Nice first half.
To the other end of the floor, just go back and explain with highlights, Liam, the definition of going nuclear, please, because that was Clint Steindl in the opening quarter.
Yeah, well, he completely caught fire. We mentioned it took him a couple of minutes to start to run some plays for him, but when they started to find him, he knocked it down. And you've just got to be aware of where he is on the floor. McDaniel finds him on the arc there. That was what got him going. Then they run some action for him. He's the best in the league. Right, Chris Golding's right there, but just at that art specifically of shooting off the move and off the cut, he is sensational.
And like you said, because he's so tall, he's so big, he's not worried about the defender. Whatever he wants to do, he's going to do. He comes off those screens, he lets it fly, irregardless of who's in his face, and generally it goes down.
It's a very good-looking SodaStream shot chart at half-time. So the JackJumpers score 15 points in that second quarter. What's the biggest concern for Scott Roth? Inside the JackJumpers change rooms right now, what will the coach be talking about?
Their offensive execution, I think, for sure. The whole tempo of the game changed because they couldn't get anything going offensively. And Goorjian has been saying after these JackJumper losses that the Tassie are really good at moving the ball and executing their stuff. They couldn't get it done in that second term.
That's exactly right. And I say, whatever Goorjian said to him, guys, you got to get up in. You can't let guys come off screens and shoot and be wide open. Whatever he said, it worked.
Josh Adams at the half has 13 points. Is he perhaps the man they go to more in this second half?
Well, thank goodness for him. As far as the JackJumpers are concerned, those couple of threes back-to-back at the end of that second quarter have kept them in this thing. It was going to be looking pretty ugly without that. So, yeah, he's a bit of a bailout, though, guy, late in the shot clock. They've got to get those other guys more involved. Jack McVeigh, Majet's got to find himself going. They've got to get McIntosh finishing around the rim. It's got to be all hands on deck at the offensive end.
So it's half-time in game one of our Saturday night doubleheader. Illawarra leading by 8. Don't forget, as soon as we finish up on the crossover, we head to John Cain Arena for South East Melbourne taking on Sydney. Back soon with more in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Thanks for being with us in the Hungry Jacks NBL. We're just about set to go for the third quarter. Illawarra leading 49-41. Tim Conrad has played some good minutes for Illawarra, has an equal season high 9 points at the half. As we get down to Anthony Stewart, your impressions on the opening half, Stewie?
Yeah, look, I've just listened to Gorge coming back into the game right now, and he said, I don't care what anyone says about us, we're tough. We're going to be physical, we're going to meet it, get the ball to the second side, and Copes will know what I'm talking about. He's got that look of playoff basketball.
Wow. I know exactly what you mean, Stewie.
And it's interesting with that too. Brian Gorshin, always available, always accessible, has just for tonight just said, look, I'll give the halftime interview a miss, which he never does. Never, ever does. He's one of the most accessible people in the league. So I think that backs up Stewie's point that he's really dialed into this one tonight.
He's focused. He wants to win this one tonight.
Illawarra fourth on the table. 12-8. Jessup from the elbow.
Great play coming out of the half. Get Jessup going. He just knocked down a couple before you went into halftime. Run him off a screen. Come off a curl. Easy shot. Keep his confidence high.
He's now equal leading scorer in the game with 13. JackJumpers have got to find some answers. And that relentless pressure from Illawarra. Look at the bench, rise as one with that stop.
They're amped. Gorge, you would have told his crew the defense is in front of our bench. Coming out of this halftime break, so they want everybody engaged and talking. Keep the pressure on.
They forced Tasmania into 8 turnovers. Tasmania across the season only average 11 a game. Jessup with a hand in the face. That won't go. When it's pressure like this, Coach, how do you get your offense on your terms?
You got to be smart. You got to, when you're overplaying, you got to run some back doors. You got to try to get some easy shots. You can't come out and force bad shots because then the defense wins. Transition, you know, you got to be smart about it.
Harvey hasn't really got going as yet. 2 of 6 from the field in the opening half. Cleveland reaching in, picks up an early foul. His first.
They've also just dried up a little bit with their shooting, the JackJumpers, in that second quarter. They went 5 of 19 from the field. Now, some of that's because the pressure's elite. You're late in the shot clock. You're shooting over a hand, but there's also been some open ones. The dunk down the middle and some good looks on the perimeter. Just got to start breaking the circuit here with a couple of buckets.
Kenyon misses the 32 points that Illawarra scored in the second quarter is their highest scoring quarter of the season. We mentioned that this has got a playoff-like feel to it. A big move by the Hawks in the second. Cleveland trying to bank it home. McVeigh. And the Jet thought about letting fly. And that'll be an offensive foul.
It's a grown man scream right there.
It's almost a hip and shoulder.
Wow.
That's an easy call for the official. And Jack, you talk about that 32 points in the second term for Illawarra. I think the beautiful thing about that for Gorgian is he would have said in the halftime sheds, what you guys did in that second term was exactly what I've been telling you all year. It's got to start from our defense. Lock it up, run, and get some rhythm going and put points on the board.
Free throws to come for Reith.
20, hit, 2.
He's had some good games against Tasmania this season. Had a good game on Thursday night. Had a really good game, in fact, on Thursday. 22-12 was awarded the Tyson Demos medal, which will now become a yearly thing for Illawarra in their Indigenous game. They'll award the medal to the best player after Tyson Demos.
You know, something about this Illawarra team, sometimes when you have too many offensive threats, it can hurt you. I mean, you play on a team where the 1, 2, and the 3 are your go-tos, and then everyone else contributes. But with Illawarra, anyone can shoot at any given time, and sometimes that hurts them.
Well, Jack was talking about Harvey's slow first quarters. I think that's why, because he's got, you know what, I got some threats on this team. I got to get Jessup shots. I got to get Dwight Reith some catches. Meanwhile, Fabian Krislovic, 2 quick fouls, 4 personals. He's on the bench, and Jock Perry's into the game.
Adams long. Kenyon hustles, wins it back. Offensive rebound number 8 for Tasmania. Majet can't find the bottom of the net. He's 0 from 5. Harvey upstairs for Cleveland.
They look a much different team, don't they? And that's what they like to do. If you take a bad shot on this end, they're getting out and running. And they have the horses to finish.
Another 7-0 run for Illawarra. Tasmania have not scored in this third quarter so far. Adams tries to change that. Froling met him there. This has been a defensive performance of the highest order. Jessup off target that time. And McVeigh sees only Harvey ahead. Beautiful spin and finish.
They needed that.
9 points for McVeigh. Doing his best to keep the JackJumpers in the game.
Heads up play from the Hawks there. Go at Jock Perry. They clear out the space for Sam Froling. And you're right, Coach, this is when they're at the best. The Hawks get stops. Cleveland in transition. Harvey puts it right on the spot.
Froling is 65% free throw shooter this season.
The word is ugly.
That was a dart.
That was ugly.
Phil the Power Taylor would be impressed with that one. And that's Burgers.
And boy, don't they love it.
Do they ever? Code word is dodge. It's knocked out of bounds.
They're the kind of looks we're talking about. Just couldn't, there was miscommunication in defensive transition. Gorge not happy about it at all.
Gorge looked at it, man, as if to say, are you kidding me?
Wide open look for Jack McVeigh, and they just couldn't make it count.
That's the look your parents give you when they say, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
When they go away and you have a party and you come home and
the house is wrecked.
They find bottles in the garden everywhere. That's that look. 54-43. We've got a coach's challenge here. We'll take a look at all of the angles. Gorgian riding every possession right now. They've got a really challenging run home. They'll play Tasmania on the road today. They've got away games against Sydney, Perth, and 2 at John Cain Arena against Melbourne. That is a really tough run to the playoffs.
The good thing is if they can win a couple of those games, 2 or 3, they're already in playoff mode, because when you play those teams, there's going to be some tough matches.
And you're beating those other playoff contenders. As Gorgian's saying, it's in our hands. So we win, we're in. And they're going about it the right way tonight.
So coach's challenge on the out of bounds.
So this is called off the Hawks. And Gorgian's challenging this call, but it looks like Cleveland with the last touch right there. Jock Perry certainly got a piece with that outstretched hand.
Gorgian gives you the look. Man.
He's unsuccessful. Call on the floor stands. His white ball. The coach loses his timeout and his coach's challenge.
So, right, so it was called Hawks ball off the McVeigh miss.
Right.
Roth challenges and he loses the challenge.
Interesting one to challenge.
He's just looking for a spark. He's looking for anything right now to get these guys going.
He wouldn't have had the best view of it.
No.
I wouldn't.
Harvey. Off to Reith, mid-range jumper. This Cleveland has been a handful all night long.
And I've said it over and over, and I know people are tired of hearing me say it. This guy is special because he gets you points and when you don't have to run anything for him. He finds a way to score.
Sure does. Just never gives up on a play. He's always there to get a deflection, get a steal, get an offensive rebound, get out in transition. He's the guy. Every year you enter the off-season, teams are looking around at players, new imports to the league, saying, we need to get that type. A couple of years ago, it was, we need to get a Cam Oliver type to put us over the top. I think a lot of teams are looking at Antonius Cleveland right now and saying, we need to find that type of guy.
28 NBA games with Dallas, Atlanta, and back at Dallas again. Look at how small that lineup is on the floor right now for Tasmania. Majet. Unsuccessful again. 0 from 6.
And the Hawks are smart, going straight inside, straight away.
Points are going to count for Reith. This game is in real danger now for Tasmania of completely getting away from them. They've scored 2 points in this third quarter on the back of scoring 15 in the second.
Wow.
Look at that breakdown.
And you know the matchup that's really been working well for the Hawks since about quarter time is Antonius Cleveland guarding Josh Majet. They put him, you see him there in the backcourt guarding the point guard. They put him on Xavier Munford for the Phoenix on Thursday night, and it helped to change the game. Majet's the head of the snake for the JackJumpers offensively, and Cleveland's been taking him out of the game.
Another turnover for Tasmania. That's 11. On the other side, though, Copes, they look after the ball better than anyone in the competition this year, Illawarra. They're #1 in that stat. 2 turnovers in nearly 3/4 of basketball for the Hawks.
That's exceptional. That is great basketball.
59-43 at the Silverdome. Shot clock at 7 for Harvey. Now Cleveland, with his back to the basket. Accelerates over the top of Adams.
I love him. I love him. I got a man crush. I love him.
Get him up here.
I mean, he's good. He's good.
Is this your first man crush since you joined the commentary set?
First Cleveland game? Is this your first Hawks game?
No, but he's gotten better and better. It just fits well. And when they're down, he can get them going. By the little things. It's the little. He's not hungry for the ball. He doesn't need a play. He goes and gets it himself.
We caught him the other night. He's a game changer.
Sure is.
And at different times over the last month, and often it's at the start of the fourth quarter or late in the third when the team needs a spark. His energy puts them over the top. What happened here early in that second term, and it hasn't stopped.
McVeigh's fouled. Falling a little aggressive on that closeout. Plus 17 in his time on the court tonight, Antonius Cleveland.
Let's go, guys. Shots.
See, it's that other hand from Froling. Caught McVeigh in the stomach. Only 2 players in double figures tonight for Tasmania. Steindl and Adams.
And Steindl had those in 6 minutes of play in the first quarter, didn't he?
That's what Gorgon does with Cleveland. So what did he do when Steindl was heating up? Put Cleveland on him.
That's right.
Josh Majet running the show. Cleveland's out of the, Steindl's out of the game. Let's put him on the point guard. Turn the water off at the tap.
And McVeigh now becomes the 3rd Jack jumper into double figures. That's an easy bucket for the Hawks.
Beautiful basketball. We talk about Cleveland. Last year they had a guy, Simon, who was a very good defensive player as well, just wasn't as offensive as this guy. And now they've gone out and gotten better, I think.
Was it exactly what they wanted from that signing, right? Like not lose too much defensively, but get a bit of an extra boost at the other end of the floor.
Foley makes the extra. Let's get down to Stewie.
Yeah, Cleveland certainly letting the JackJumpers bench know who's running the show out here right now. I think this is a bit of a toss of the coin right now from Roth. See if they keep their playoff hopes alive with this small group. You'd want to see a lot of pressure up the floor, a bit of physical pressure.
Well, they get the bucket, and then they get the stop. That's a start for Tasmania.
That is a start. Steiner comes in, knocks down a three. He's so smooth, isn't he?
So smooth. Geez, tough call. Not a lot of a push-off there from Rattan Mays. But yeah, that'll certainly be the idea, what Stuart was saying. Get up, put some pressure on. It's a lineup that, of course, you can switch 1 through 5, and then down this end of the floor, stretch them out. See if you can get some open looks for some shooters.
The Jets pass chopped off. And Cleveland, offensive foul. 2 stops in a row for Tasmania. Cleveland's second. Three minutes and 56 seconds before three-quarter time. Quarter to go after this one. And stick around the crossover. We'll have you covered for all of your news, both from the NBL, the WNBL on the eve of finals, and of course overseas. And then as soon as the team are finished up, Southeast Melbourne and Sydney from John Cain Arena. It's a big, big night here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Massive night.
Conrad lost it. He stripped from Steindl, and the Jet with his first bucket of the game. They've scored the last 5, Tasmania.
Yeah.
The key for them is to get another stop. Cleveland. Misses. And the Jet has 6 assists. Steindl guarded by Froling. To the basket, into the corner for Weeks. Pass deflected.
Really needed to let it fly there. Jared Weeks, Steindl penetrate and pitch to the corner. Need to let it go, and that's what this lineup's out there to do, right? Everyone can shoot it.
Spread the floor.
Got to be ready to let it fly.
Yep.
5 seconds on the shot clock. Cleveland sits down. Steindl has to shoot. That's long. 5 of 7 across the night for him. Jessup over the top of Weeks.
That's the sweet spot for Jessup. That's what's in the scout, what he wants to go to. A couple of dribbles left, pull up mid-range, money.
15 points, equal leading scorer in the game. Adams lost it, and that will be certainly considered for an unsportsmanlike foul.
Well, that's not good.
It is an
JackJumpers. No, that's an easy call, isn't it? The turnover results, stretches out across the body. Stop transition, that's an unsportsmanlike 2 in possession, and not what the JackJumpers needed. There was a moment there when it was all coming up Millhouse for Tassie. But some stabilising plays for the Hawks.
Although the Hawks have been known to let you back in the game. I mean, wasn't that the other night that they played Southeast Melbourne and actually had a look, went to get something to eat. When I came back, it was very close. I said, what happened? So, don't go anywhere.
They went on a run.
Did you cook something up?
I was doing. What'd you cook? Big steak, potatoes, salad.
That's why you look the way you look, Coach.
All day.
Timeless. Rattan Mays. As White worked hard to get open. That jumps out. Weeks with the rebound for Tasmania. Equal biggest lead of the game for Illawarra right now. Shot clock down to 4. McDaniel. Beautiful pass. How did he find that gap and find Steindl?
Great pass. Great cut by Steindl.
They didn't panic with the shot clock against them. Steindl up to 17. 90 seconds before three-quarter time.
Foul on Steindl underneath. The ball movement here from Tassie. As you say, Jack didn't panic. Good movement. Last second from Steindl. Just a back cut along the baseline and then down the other end. The two shooters guarding each other, Steindl and Jessup, as he worked off those screens. And Steindl a little too physical.
Okay.
84% free throw shooter this season, Justinian Jessup. Has 16 for the night.
He's been tough all night, hasn't he?
Pick number 51 in the 2020 NBA draft, Copes. You've been there, you've played in it, you understand what it takes. Is he ready?
I think he probably needs another summer league. Obviously, he can play in the league. He's a very good shooter. He's got the right size. And he just needs the right team. If he gets on the right team, then obviously he can play. I don't think there's a million teams chasing him right now. I wouldn't know. Lynn probably would know. No, not a lot of teams chasing him, but he has the ability to play in the NBA, yes.
Golden State hold his rights at the moment. McIntosh, tough finish inside.
And you would think any team didn't play any defense, that's the team. Well, that's the team you probably want to go to.
Yeah.
He's a good defender.
Wait, you're right. He's taken big strides as a defender this year.
Let's pass out for Rattan Mays. Cleveland, look at him scrap after that ball. McDaniel kept it in, but to the advantage of Illawarra. Jessup short. Now they settle into something more meaningful, Illawarra. Rattan Mays. Shot clock at 4. Reith on the move. Put the ball on the floor and finished like a guard.
And that's what happens when you go with a small lineup. Man, 2 or 3 extra shots. No rim protection.
Correct.
6'11", he was just gliding around. The Hawks force a turnover. The shot clock's been switched off. Down to 10 seconds. Rattan Mays running the point. Has Reith, pick and pop. Again, ball on the floor. Tries to tip it in, still going.
Wow.
Misses.
This is what he should have made.
But Illawarra have made a significant move since quarter time. They lead 71-53 on Saturday Night Hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. It's an 18-point lead for the Illawarra Hawks over the Tasmania JackJumpers. And a reminder that Lifesavers have launched their new range of Fruit Tingles chocolate balls and chocolate block, available in supermarkets. Coach, have you tried these yet?
I have tried them, and I love them.
I love them. They didn't last long in the commentary position, that's for sure. It's a big performance tonight from the Hawks. 54-27, Liam, since quarter time.
Yeah, they've dominated since that point in all facets of the game, really. And they've missed a couple of bunnies there towards the end of that third quarter to make it look even worse. Good effort from Tassie in that third term. It was 22 apiece in that third quarter. But they weren't able to make big inroads into this margin.
Again, we go back to it, but whatever Gordon said in the timeout, we heard some of it. It fired these guys up. Obviously, they must have had a big training, you know, so a big training session where Gordon would have laid down the law.
Weeks drives. McIntosh couldn't put it back in. Loose ball picked up by McDaniel. The hands of Cleveland were good. McVeigh kept playing through. Wow. Eventually, McIntosh came up with it.
I had to work hard for it. Good hustle underneath McIntosh and McVeigh. Got the numbers mixed up a little before, but the JackJumpers showing some fight. Not completely dead yet.
71-55. Cleveland, not that time. McDaniel crashes the glass. He's Steindl up ahead. He spins, can't bank it home. Every one of those needs to go for Tasmania to be a chance.
Right. And what Illawarra can do is come down and go individual basketball now. When they start doing that, that's when they get in trouble. One person touches the ball and they shoot it.
McIntosh going to work on Froling. Doesn't score and misses the tip in too. There's McDaniel, right place, right time.
Just staying in touch with their grip right now. Getting extra possessions on the old glass, blocking out, keeping the Hawks to one shot.
18 is the biggest three-quarter time margin that Tasmania have been down this entire season. 2 more for Cleveland. So their pride is on the line here as well, Coach.
Absolutely. They play, look, all year long they've been playing hard. Regardless of what happens at the end of the game, they have a reputation of playing hard and being physical and playing together as a team. They look a little rattled in the second half. A lot of that's because of Gordon and the defensive end with the Illawarra Hawks.
Conrad back in. Plus 11, his time on the floor. Here's Josh Adams, 5 of 10. Has had patches in the game where he's looked like he was about to explode. Illawarra have been able to do a good job of stopping him. The Hawks could be as high as third. He's caught a foot. If they win today, and in the next game, Sydney knock off Southeast Melbourne, the Hawks can jump to third.
And what does that do for your confidence?
Well, it sets it up. Their next game after this is next Sunday against Melbourne at John Cain Arena. So it sets them up in a big way. If they win tonight, that'll be 7 of their last 9 that they've won. Not quite the Sydney Kings, but they're not far off it in terms of winning streak.
But Liam, is it fair to say they've won 7, if they win tonight, it's 7-9, but it's not 7 pretty wins.
Yeah, and they haven't taken huge scalps.
That's right.
Along the way there, a couple of wins over the Phoenix, which have been impressive. But yeah, you can see in that a lot of bitter cans and Adelaide and the like, and you can see on their upcoming schedule, Cleveland misses there, that they've got a lot of those tough games coming up. So great way to build some momentum and
confidence.
Start playing the right way. You get the Tassie monkey off your back.
Yep. But, and I say but, now you're going up against some some real talent, and you can't afford to play like they played in the first quarter. You can't, because teams will take advantage of it.
There's their next 4. Only 1 home game in amongst that. They've already played 12 at home this season, so there's not many left at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. Nice take from Adams.
Well, I like the attitude from Brian Goorjian, though, which is, you know, home or away. Look, doesn't matter. If we play the right way, we can beat these teams.
We'll play them on Pluto if we have to, yeah.
And, you know, he's got to sell that message to his guys for sure, but it's the right message to sell. And after a bit of a slow start, you saw his frustration in that early timeout, saying, hey, everything we spoke about, none of it's on display. Get out there and do your job. And then it's all come to fruition since then. So definitely job now to close this one out, take that momentum up against the ladder leaders and keep building towards the finals.
You ever played on Pluto, Copes?
No, but we're close.
What's close?
South Dakota. 37 below. Wind chill factor. I felt like Pluto. But Liam, you're right. And you know, the good thing about this team is sometimes being on the road with just you against the world can get you to the place you need to be. No distractions.
Nice knockdown from Rattan Mays. He's making a real habit of being a fourth quarter player for Illawarra.
Yes, he is.
Adams upstairs.
Just to let you know, I got hops. I can get up.
Equal leading scorer now for the JackJumpers with 17. It's a 14-point game. Obvious statement, though, they need stops. And they can't give Tyler Harvey open looks like that.
That's big. That is back-breaking stuff for the JackJumpers.
Hasn't been required to do a great deal at the offensive end tonight. He's been facilitating, though. Adams stepping back. That rattles out. Jessup comes up with it. We tick down to 5 minutes remaining. Great crowd in attendance once again at the Silverdome in Launceston. JackJumpers have done a good job of promoting this game and drawing up a lot of interest. Reith, offensive rebound, misses from underneath like he did at the end of the third quarter.
Of those.
He's left a few out there tonight.
Just wants that double-double. Just racking up those offensive rebounding stats. Got 12 and 9 right now.
Adams is fouled.
You know who hasn't been out there on the floor for the JackJumpers throughout this fourth quarter here is Josh Majette. He might be checking in now. Here's the attack from Adams. Good, strong finish at the rim. And then here again, just draws the contact. Gets to the free throw line. That Antonius Cleveland matchup has really played Majette off the floor.
78-61 in the Hungry Jacks NBL. So a timeout call. 4 minutes and 28 remaining. Back to what you were saying about Josh Majette, Lee.
Well, the cool thing about Josh Majette, second in the league in assists, and those dimes have been there. Tonight he's got 8 of them. But what he's done so well this season is combined that with a scoring punch, 13, 14 points a game. Hasn't been able to get that going tonight. 2 points, 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 4 from long range, and that's made things tough for the JackJumpers offensively.
A lot of that, you're right, because they put Cleveland on him. Cleveland has the size, he's long, and it's harder to get that shot off. When you miss 1 or 2 shots, you start lacking a little bit of confidence. And as you say, he's passing the ball well, but they need that extra offense for them to win.
(78-61), 4 minutes 28 remaining. Josh Adams on the free throw line.
And Josh Majette back into the game. So see if he can start to get himself going. The dimes have been there for him tonight, not so much the scoring punch that he usually provides. Antonius Cleveland, you'd suspect, well, he's not out there on the floor for the Hawks, so see if Magette can make something of these next couple of minutes.
Tasmania are 7-3 when Magette has 6 dimes or more in a game. So he's up to that number tonight. But to your point, Liam, normally there's some more scoring that comes with that. It helps create a stop. Steindel's pass batted away. He kept working for it, the captain. Took it to the rack. Can't score.
Tenacious defense.
Harvey, 8 points on 3 of 7. Tom Mays downhill, scores.
That's a tough shot. And he's been that fourth quarter scorer. Like you say, he comes off the bench and gets it done in the fourth quarter for them.
Nearly 34% of Xavier Rattan-May's points come in the fourth quarter. Gives you an idea of his contribution late in games. (80-62). It's an equal game-high 18-point lead. Clock at 4 for Harvey. The floater off the glass, no good. And the Jet surveys the floor. Adams left open. Hawks come up with it and absorb time off the clock. This is a streak they're building now, 7 of their last 9. The only team that they've lost to in that period is Tasmania. Are they, if we jump ahead to next Sunday, which is the Hawks' next game against Melbourne, are they exactly where Brian Goorjian would want them to be now? Have they got a few tweaks? How would he be feeling about that matchup?
Oh, I think he'd be feeling great. I mean, this is how he wants them to play. He put it all on display, and they've got a couple of wins in a row under their belt. That's the perfect way to go in that kind of game.
Again, though, that first quarter was not. I think at the end of the day, they can't afford to get down like that in the first quarter. But when this guy's playing well, it doesn't matter.
And again, it was his energy that really sparked things for him, wasn't it? Look at the numbers, 20 points, 6 boards, 2 steals for Cleveland, 2 assists, a steal, sorry, and he's been giving it to you at both ends of the floor. You know, showing his versatile offensive game, his hustle, his energy on the offensive glass. You know what he can do in transition, but his defense has also been elite. Another big-time performance from Cleveland tonight.
Out of those 20 points, how many plays do you think they ran from him? Not
Zero.
many.
0.
There you go. That's why he's very valuable to that team.
Cool story about a couple of guys in this game as we close it out here. 2 guys on the floor, Josh Magette and Xavier Rattan-Mays. Both of those guys were a part of a group that was put together in Irvine, California, prior to the Olympics to scrimmage against the Boomers.
Yes.
The agent Daniel Moldovan, Cam Oliver's agent, who was in that group as well. They were wearing Boomers green, going up against our green and gold, get them ready for Tokyo. Magette was out there, XRM, as I say, and here they are on an NBL floor going head to head.
It's amazing.
Here is Rattan-Mays. Conrad, the find underneath for Duop-Reath. 14-9 with a couple of block shots. He would have been part of that scrimmage. And he's starting to find some good form again at the right time of the season. Steindl short. 2 minutes to play at the Silver Dome in Launceston. And here's Duop-Reath with his 10th rebound. That's a double-double.
Wow.
And forces that in as well.
This just shows they certainly miss Magna. Magna in that middle There's none of that.
Both teams about to head to the bench by the looks of things. AK Gack about to check in for Illawarra. Nice take from Adams.
He keeps pushing.
He's been there guiding light all night. Yeah, him and Steindl.
He's the equal game-leading scorer. Adams with 20, and here comes the reserve unit. Celebration time for the Hawks.
AJ Ogilvie in, Emmett Nah into the game, and this is fantastic to see. Sayedine's making his NBL debut, a Launceston boy, 18 years of age, playing in front of his family tonight. Gets his first minutes.
That is cool. Really cool in his hometown at the Silverdome.
He's nervous as all get out. There's nothing like your first minutes. Nothing like it.
He just went to Josh Majed and said, mate, don't pass me the ball. Just give me a couple of possessions right now.
He was the first person to put pen to paper for the JackJumpers.
Wow, that's amazing.
And he's off to college, I understand.
Yeah,
so
he's committed.
Playing that sort of unpaid DP role right now to maintain his eligibility. Cool moment for him right now.
Minute and 35 seconds left. He'd be tired. After that minute and 35 is over, he'd be so tired and just run up and down.
Keep breathing, young fella.
Sean McDonald in for Tasmania as well, one of their DPs. Seen him a couple of times this season. Isaac White late in the shot clock. Drives and draws a foul. What do you think of that haircut of Isaac White?
Well, I don't think I've ever had one like that. But
He seems like it's popular in the Gong.
in the Gong.
I think it's popular everywhere.
Emmett Nah, Dan Greeder.
Look at that.
I like the way he gives it a little flick in big moments, too.
There he goes.
He actually, you remember he gave that flick in the Wynn Entertainment Centre after he hit that corner three. I found out he'd told someone important to him that it was going to be his own little shout-out to him.
That's nice.
He certainly does not lack confidence, does he?
He can play. Very, very talented young man. 23 years of age. He'll be learning the right way under Brian Gorshin.
Absolutely.
No mistake about that. Nick Dean's body's off. Over the top of Gack, doesn't get it to go. Speaking of talented young men, Liam, we saw a little bit of AK Gack in Boomer's representation recently. He's got some talent. Ogilvie.
Whoa!
Banks it in. Why not?
Well, he'll take it.
And the bench will too. Well done.
This, unfortunately for Tasmania, is going to be their biggest loss of the season. And Cleveland puts the emphasis on it. One last chance for McVeigh. Gack followed him. No foul call. And Illawarra will dribble this one out. Total domination since quarter time. They played like a team who won a spot in the playoffs. 91-65. Scott Roth and Brian Gorshin having a conversation post-game. Some frustration for the JackJumpers. The story tonight, though, is Illawarra, who win their first game against the JackJumpers.
Yeah, big-time win. They needed to get some revenge on this Tasmanian team, and they're in that hot pursuit of a playoff spot. There's some ill feeling out there about the way that finished off. Scott Roth not happy. Big margin. Antonius Cleveland looking to make a play.
What happened there?
We know he's passionate, Scott Roth. We'll get another look at things in a moment, but this is really in danger of spilling over.
Yeah, he just needs to cool his jets.
Yeah.
In this moment, Scott Roth.
This is not a good look for the JackJumpers coach. I think it might be wise to get Antonius Cleveland out of there. So some ill feeling to finish off the game.
I can only assume, I took my eyes off this for a moment, but that Cleveland was trying to turn the corner and score an extra bucket as time expired. Now, of course, percentage is in play for these playoff contending teams.
For sure.
Usually when it's a margin like this, even if that might be the case, teams dribble it out. But they really should have been playing to the final buzzer. Here you see Antonius Cleveland. And this is the handshake here. There's, okay, he wasn't trying to score. He just dropped the rock and got amped to the crowd.
And Scott Roth had some words on the way through.
He thinks he's mocking. He's being mocked.
That's what it is.
He probably thinks he's being mocked right there.
And he went back for seconds and thirds and fourths, the JackJumpers coach. And some more perhaps to play out on that, but Illawarra winners by 26 tonight. Big win for the Hawks in their quest to make the playoffs. We're back to wrap it up after this. Thanks for being with us in the Hungry Jacks NBL. At quarter time, Tasmania led this game by 9. They had momentum, they had flow, and they had good energy inside their home away from home at the Silverdome. But after that point, Illawarra had other ideas and have run out 26-point winners.
Yeah, just completely dominated from that point. Got down 11 early in the second quarter, the Hawks, but sat down, guarded their guy, got after it defensively, ran out, put a 32-point quarter on the board in the second. Antonius Cleveland was huge all night, both ends of the floor. And they weathered some storms from the JackJumpers. Clint Steindl heating up at one point. And in the end, they deliver Tassie's biggest loss of the season, 26 points. Huge for Illawarra's percentage.
It is, and it lets you know if Illawarra play defense like that, they can play with anyone in this league. And that was a statement tonight. Look, Tasmania have beaten us throughout the year. We are coming to play tonight, and this is what happened.
On the back of scoring 103 on Thursday night in their win over South East Melbourne. They put another 91 on the board today.
Yeah, it's tough to put that many on the JackJumpers. They slow it down, they get it through hands. There's not as many possessions in the game, and they're a tough defensive unit. And look at the free throw count. The Hawks are last in the league in free throw attempts. They only average about 15 a game. Well, they had 21 attempts at three-quarter time when they had full control of the game. So they pounded it inside, they got to the rim, and eventually things started going their way.
Antonius Cleveland, our Foot Locker player of the game, got caught up in a little something at the end with the Tasmanian coach.
Looks like he was mocking what Roth did the game beforehand, and Roth didn't like that. You know, look, there's nothing wrong with that. You guys have your say, and you move on. You know, but he was tough all night, and I've said this: you don't run a lot of plays for this guy. He finds a way to score. He goes to the offensive glass. He gets steals. He gets his hands on the ball at any time and goes back up. And generally, it's always an and one. But he's a smart player, and I'd love to have him on my team.
Plus 21, Liam.
Oh, the plus minus is beautiful. It's a stat sheet stuffing performance. 22 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, and 2 dimes. And you see the efficiency, 8 of 14, above 50% from the field. 3 of those rebounds are at the offensive end. Just makes game-winning plays time and time again, and was a huge contributor again tonight.
Without getting too far ahead, but assuming that Illawarra do make the playoffs, and they're certainly in the hunt right now, they're in the 4, but every team they come up against has got a really good big man. They play Melbourne, they'll get Joe Lawala, who's an MVP candidate. They play South East Melbourne, they'll get Joe Chi, who's in great touch. Jarrell Martin, fit and firing for Sydney all of a sudden. How important is DeWatt Reith for this team?
Very. Hugely important, because Antonius Cleveland's your stopper on the perimeter. He can go 1 through really 4, but DeWatt Reith's your difference maker on the interior. Now, he had that Joe Chi matchup the other night. Chi gave him the business down low, but down the other end and on the glass, Reith dominated the game. And you're right, in those other matchups, they got Joe Lawala, Melbourne United up next. He's going to need to come up big, but he's in great form. 22 and 12 the other night, 16 and 11. He's a double-double machine right now. And I like the fact he's getting work done on the glass. Hasn't been rebounding anywhere near enough over the course of the season. Right now, in the hunt for the playoffs, he's coming up trumps.
And Copes, he had a little period where he just dropped off a fraction, but he seems as though if his season was a graph, it seems to be climbing back up again.
Absolutely. And look, he left a couple of layups on the field tonight. I mean, he probably should have had more points than he did tonight. But Liam's right. He's gone to the offensive glass. He's rebounding now. He's shooting the 3 from outside. He's a tough get man, but he has to play defense.
Let's take a look at the Amy ladder, see what this win does for the Tasmania JackJumpers from a losing perspective, but more importantly for Illawarra from a winning perspective. 13 and 8. They've now got a little gap. If the Phoenix lose tonight, they can potentially find themselves a little higher, but they're in the 4 and they're pretty entrenched there.
They're winning games at the perfect time of the season. You're right, they've put himself in a good spot. Tassie, really, really tough from here, and all kinds of pressure on the Phoenix in this upcoming game.
Oh, I cannot wait for this.
Wow.
Crossover coming up next. All of the news from here and abroad in the world of basketball. We're back in half an hour for South East Melbourne versus Sydney. This is going to be an enormous encounter. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you shortly here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Trade.